What's good, Atlanta? This is What's Good Atlanta, come to you live from Dad's Garage. Make some noise, y'all. Yes. Yeah. So tonight, we're going to be breaking news and breaking down the stories that make you smile. I'm Mark Kendall.
And I'm David Perdue. Each week, we'll give you a rundown of uplifting or even unusual stories from the universe known as Atlanta, as we all try to find a little something that's good. Because we need it.
That's right. So tonight, we've got a very special guest to talk about ways to find joy in trying times. That's playwright, screenwriter, journalist, and maybe actually really always the smartest person in the room, Kelundra Smith. Yeah.
And special and big shout out to our other guests in the house tonight, Theresa Tha Songbird, Jon Goode, and David Ryan Harris. Give them a round of applause.
And we also want to give a big What's Good Atlanta shout out to Emory Libraries and the Emory Arts and Social Justice Program, all right, for their support for this show. It's because of them, not only are we all here, right, but we have some special additions to tonight. So we got the Little Free Contentious Library out front from our friend Aileen Lloyd. Give it up for Aileen. And y'all, we got the completely free donuts from Sublime Donuts.
Free donuts.
Y'all, shout out to Sublime Donuts. We even got some more back there. Don't leave here without getting a donut. We got some more. Shout out to Kamal Grant at Sublime Donuts. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right. So, Mark, before we get into the show, what's something that's good with you tonight?
Oh, man. Well, first off, super thankful for the awesome audience we got here. Also, David, we just recently wrapped up a show you and I did together at the Atlanta Fringe Fest. Super fun.
Mark and David Presents.
Or David and Mark Presents.
Okay. That works.
There were interchangeable titles on the forums that I filled out.
But on the flyer, I did say Mark and David. I want people to know
that's true.
As it should.
Yeah. What about yourself?
So tonight is obviously a bunch of artists here, but I want to shout out a couple people that will be in town this week. I call it a homecoming weekend of sorts. So it's Atlanta comedian Mike Rowland. He'll be at the Helium. He's one of Atlanta's best. He's on a bunch of TV shows now, as well as former Atlanta comedian Ismail Lufti used to write on Simon Naj's television show. He has a one-person show at Limelight Theater this Saturday at 8. I just love when our talent comes back home to show us what they've done. Yeah. So a shout out to those two gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay, let's check out the headlines. Here's what's good with the news this week.
Okay, so, we mentioned that Emory Libraries are helping support tonight's show. So some news out of that university. As the current president is transitioning into the role of chancellor and board of trustees, member Leigh Ward Sears has been named the interim president beginning this fall. All right, so I know it's a big change, but it's good that the school has the Emory board there to smooth things out. To refine the details. Yeah, to give things a nice shape moving forward. It's a pun.
How about a hand for that?
Yeah.
Can we get them behind the scenes real quick? We did that in rehearsal.
We didn't know what it was.
We had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
And we were like, I believe in this crowd.
Yeah.
And they got it.
Some of y'all got that? Yeah.
So already, best audience ever. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah. You know what, Dave? Something I think we need to do. I think it's time for a segment called It's Sports.
Oh, let's do it.
It's Sports.
Love that. Okay. Everybody here knows how excited I am about the MLB All-Star Game coming to Atlanta next month. Y'all know that? You should know that. I'm very excited. I'm asking that because if anybody can give me tickets, please. We've talked about it on the show multiple times, but what I'm even more excited about is leaving a little bit of our legacy behind during the All-Star break.
Okay, yeah. So this is a real thing, right?
Very real.
So the Braves have a legacy brick program for the All-Star Game, and so our producers thought it'd be a fun idea to have a What's Good Atlanta brick. Okay, so the way it works is you can buy a brick for a walkway or whatever, like leading up to the battery and customize it to say whatever you'd like for it to say. So we started to think about what the brick would say, and we decided that we would need a little bit of help from y'all, the audience here tonight.
So here's what's going to happen, right? The good people here at Dad's Garage are going to help us decide what our All-Star Game legacy brick should look like.
Yeah.
Y'all are in on this more than y'all even realized.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so the way it's going to work, so we were talking about this before the show. So we're going to get a brick, and it's going to say, like, what's good is ... right? And then y'all are going to tell us what's good. So throughout the show, there'll be certain moments where I interrupt the momentum of what's going on. And I'm going to be like, oh, but wait, hold up. Audience, what's good? Let me know. And you all will shout what that is, okay? Let's practice that right now. So if at any point I said, audience, what's good?
Fish and spaghetti.
Yeah. So That's very true. That was great. That's about 1% participation.
Yeah.
We need 100% participation.
But look, though, learn from that.
Great.
If you are loud and strong, you got a good chance of getting on.
Excellent example.
Yes, if you're loud and strong, you got a good chance of getting on that brick.
I'm glad we practice. This is why we practice. Allen Iverson. All right, we're going to try it again.
The real AI.
So audience, what's good?
Walking.
Fantastic. I heard some great things.
I heard some great things. Yeah.
Did either of y'all say something up here in front? Y'all say what's good?
Walking.
Oh, flying biscuit.
Flying biscuit. Okay. What's your favorite item on the flying biscuit, man? Chicken and waffles. All right, so that's one that we'll add.
That's got to.
I did say one word, but that is one word technically.
Yeah.
You look it up.
Around here is one word.
Yeah.
You don't separate them.
Chicken and waffles, one word, no space.
Yeah,
all right, great. So we already got one down.
Yeah, so
right.
just a reminder, don't throw out no websites. Don't try to plug anything that's going to live at the battery forever. Keep it PG if it's a noun or whatever, but that's what we'll be looking for throughout the night, okay?
All right, great. So we already got one down. Chicken and waffles. That's fantastic.
That feels good, yeah.
So now this segment is called It's Sports, so let's get to some actual sports. And for that, I think we actually need to do a segment within a segment. So we're going to go to a segment called What Do You Have?
What do you have?
What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have?
All right. Okay. And what do you have? I'm going to give you a menu of fantastic options. All right. And you give me a choice of what you want to select from that and why. So tonight we have a handful of sports items, really great sports items from Atlanta.
Oh, do we?
We do.
Okay.
All right. So you tell me, if you could be one of these, which one would you choose?
All right.
That's how it's going to work. Any questions on that?
I got no question.
All right. But first, though, just to make sure, audience, what's good? Lemon pepper wings. I like staying on the food thing, and it's also more than one. That's also one word. We might need to pay for more money for more characters. Lemon pepper wings is another one. That's great. All right, all right, okay. But David, do we understand the rules here where I'm going to give you a bunch of options, you tell me at the end what you want?
Yeah, at the end I'll tell you.
Okay.
But I have some thoughts, I'm sure.
Okay, so first up, we got Atlanta native and tennis star Coco Gauff won the French Open this week. Yeah.
I just want to say, for all the haters who said it was one time, she did it 2 times.
Yeah.
That's right.
Next, podcast favorite and recurring It's Sports hero, Alicia Gray of the Atlanta Dream, won Player of the Month for the WNBA Eastern Conference.
Shout out to Alicia Gray. We starting a campaign for most improved player. She's going to win it. Yeah, she get buckets. I like watching her play, for sure.
And last, Dunwoody Elementary School student Sarv Darvani returned to the National Spelling Bee and placed 3rd in the country. Yeah. Now, he was the youngest finalist in the competition and the first from Georgia this millennium. All right? Now, the word he misspelled, was in the final round. It was called esrin, which is a natural compound used to treat glaucoma.
I just want to say, sorry, if you're listening, don't feel bad about it. That's not even going to be a word in a year. So don't even feel bad.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. We got your back.
All right. So, David, what do you have? We got a French Open championship.
Yeah.
Professional basketball player of the month. We got the Braves, right? So Blooper, the Braves mascot, was named one of the top 15 sexiest mascots in Major League Baseball. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, he top 3 and he not number 3. you seen Blooper got them hips.
All right. All right. So I'm going to recap the choices again, David. We got French Open Championship, Professional Basketball Player of the Month, Baseball Sexiest Mascot, or placing in the National Spelling Bee. What do you have?
All right, so I'm going to start off with Sarv. I want to pick Sarv first because he has the youngest knees of anybody that you named. And I would love to have that, but I'm going to let him have his knees. I'm going to let him live that life. The next option, I'm thinking maybe Alicia Gray, but you know what I mean? Most improved player, that's all her. I don't want to steal, I don't want to steal that. Now it's between Blooper and Coco.
Okay.
Blooper, again, the hips. Sexy mascot. You know what I mean? Everybody wants that type of attention. I will say, however, these Atlanta summers are very hot.
Yeah.
So I do not want to be Blooper. So that means what I'll have will be Coco Gauff. I would love to. I think Coco Gauff is where it's at.
Fantastic.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah. Y'all, this has been What Do You Have? But real first, going to ask again, audience, what's good? What was this right here? I'm going to take sweat just because we need to do one word. Otherwise, we're going to run out of money for this.
We will run out of money.
Right,
our producers are like, keep it to one word, please.
Yeah, I'm not done that. So we're going to go with sweat. That was great.
Can I ask you a question, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Out of those, which one are you picking?
Oh, we're going with Blooper. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely.
That's a solid pick.
Yeah.
What do you have, sir?
And this has been It's Sports.
It's sports.
All right, y'all. And so we got one more piece of local news that's received some national attention. Atlanta's own Topher Payne, writer, director, actor, offered some rewrites to several notable children's books a few years ago, right? In a series called Topher Fixed It. So for each story, he gives an alternate ending to update some of the lessons, messages, and characters.
Topher's project got some amplification in the last month from a few different outlets. And to make sure we keep things going, we wanted to share one of Topher's parodies, The Tree Who Set Healthy Boundaries. An alternate ending to Shel Silverstein's The Giving Tree. Okay, the audience seems to like it. All right. Please join us in welcoming in our friend, my Morehouse brother, MC poet, the great Adon Bean. Give it up to read a selection from this.
Now, as Adon makes his way to the stage, audience, what's something else that's good? I heard André 3000. I'm doing a bad word, keeping this in one word, but I love André. So we're doing André 3000. Add that to the brick. That's fantastic. So what we're going to do now is, as David said, Adon, welcome. Great to see you.
Good to be seen.
Yeah. So Adon's going to read this book. And so let's see together if we can maybe spot the changes that Topher has made. So Adon, take it away. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much. So, The Tree Who Set Healthy Boundaries. I'm not going to show you the pictures, but we've read Giving Trees, so just imagine those pictures. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. And she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" And the tree said, "Okay, hold up. This is already getting out of hand. Look, I was fine with giving you the apples to help you get on your feet. They'll grow back next season anyway. But no, I'm not giving you a house. You know, I've seen boys like you pull this nonsense with other trees in the forest. Like, first it's the apples, then the branches, then the trunk, and before you know it, that mighty beautiful tree is just a sad little stump. Well, look here, boy, I love you like family, but I am not going down like that. And while we're on the subjects, the tree said, grabbing him by the collar of his shirt, I recognize friendships evolve over time, and we may not see each other as often because you don't have time for your tree friends, but we used to be real tight. Now it feels like I only see you when you need something. How do you think that makes me feel? The boy took a long breath. He felt a sour rumble in his stomach because he realized he hadn't considered his friend's feelings. "I bet it makes you feel sad," said the boy. "Yes, boy. Bad. I can't even remember the last time you asked me how I'm doing. How are you doing, tree? Asked the boy. He sincerely wanted to know. So the tree told the boy all the gossip from the forest and introduced him to the family of red squirrels that had moved into her trunk. While she was glad for the company the squirrels provided, she was concerned about the long-term health benefits of hosting a burrow. So the boy called the local arborist to explain that squirrels don't eat wood. They only build nests in pre-existing holes. So the tree was in no danger. The tree was so relieved. And so was the boy. He loved his friend and was concerned about her long-term health because she had taught him the importance of empathy. And so it continued. The tree and the boy, looking out for each other like that, both of them content in their knowledge that someone had their back. The boy attended culinary school. The tree took courses online and got her certification in small business management. They did their homework together nearly every day. The boy became a pastry chef. Together, they opened a bakery, selling the best apple pies anyone had ever tasted. It turned a profit in the first 18 months, which is most uncommon. Eventually, the boy had a son of his own. And much later, the son of the boy had his own family too. Because of their friendship, the boy was successful and fulfilled, and the tree grew wider and stronger, standing tall and beautiful in the forest for many, many, many years. Plus, a few years, even more than that. And as each generation played in her strong old branches, the tree often thought back to the fateful day when the boy had asked her for a house. In truth, she would have gladly given her branches to build one. She would have given him her trunk to build a boat. She loved him that much. But then she would have had nothing left, not for herself, nor anyone else. And there never would have been a home for the red squirrels. There'd have been no hide and seek with the boy's grandchildren, no bakery with the best apple pies anyone ever tasted. Setting healthy boundaries is a very important part of giving. It assures you'll always have something left to give. And so the tree was happy. Everyone was. The end.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Adameen. Give it up, give it up.
Also, y'all, thanks to Topher for his work and grace on letting us feature the story tonight. You can read, download, and print all 4 alternate endings for free at topherpayne.com. There's also a tip jar to give him some love.
Yeah. All right. So that's what's good with the news. We'll be right back with our top story of the week and an interview with Kelundra Smith. Welcome back. We are live at Dad's Garage with a room full of friends and a special recording of What's Good Atlanta. Real quick, audience, what's good? Beltline? Did you hear Beltline?
I heard Beltline. I also heard mac and cheese.
I heard mac and cheese. Let's keep on that trend of food.
Yeah, let's keep on mac and cheese.
Yeah.
We're gonna need more money for this break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now on to our top story.
Yes, tonight we have a very special guest joining us. She's a writer, and all kinds of writer. An arts and culture journalist, a playwright, a screenwriter, a critic, an editor, a speaker, an academic, and just an overall good person. Please, y'all, give it up for Kelundra Smith.
Kelundra, what's good with you?
It's summertime in Atlanta. This is like the best time to be here. That's what's good with me. Like, it's patio season.
I love that. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. Also, I just got to shout out your show, The Wash. Last week opened off Broadway in New York, y'all. That's amazing. It had an amazing premiere here in Atlanta. It's been going all over the country. And it's just such an amazing play. It's funny, historical, just like everything. So that was just an amazing, amazing play.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely.
And thank you, honestly, to Atlanta, like for a show. When we opened last week, we ran for, last year here, we ran 8 weeks, which in theater does not happen. And so thank you, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about the importance of Atlanta to you and your work?
Well, Atlanta is home for me, and so this city is so much a part of the fiber of who I am. And with my play, The Wash, as you mentioned, that was a piece of Atlanta history, which for those who are not familiar, the Atlanta Washerwomen's Strike of 1881 was a real historical event where African-American laundresses who were fed up with being stiffed on their wages said no pay, no wash, and they literally threw everybody's clothes out into the streets. And I did not learn about this event until about 8 years ago. I was on assignment for the AJC at the opening of the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture in DC. Yes, clap for the Smithsonian. They're coming for it, but we won't let them. And I saw this panel about this washerwomen's strike. And I was like, what is this? And I'm the type of person, and you all will understand this, I can write about something once I can laugh about it. And in doing research about the event, there were these newspaper archives that were like, if the women don't get back to washing clothes, people are going to start walking around naked. And they have waged a war against soap. This is in real newspaper articles. And I was like, I can write about this, because if your alternative to washing your own clothes is walking around naked, you're having the life you deserve.
Y'all, for real, this play is amazing. So you need to go to like New York now and watch The Wash. It really is that amazing. You touched on this some, but can you talk about like the role of how you see joy as part of the work that you do? Like, when I watched the show The Wash, I felt like all, kinds of emotions, but one of them for sure for me was joy. And can you talk about how that, comes into your work at all?
Writing is my happy place. So I know a lot of writers, they write when they're like sad or upset or angry. That's not my truth. I am totally blocked actually in that space. So for me, joy is like mission critical to actually like doing the thing. But also like, for me, there are enough downtrodden, sad tales, especially about the South. And it's like, let's look at the triumph in something that was tragic. Like, yes, it's awful that people were stiffing them on their pay, but also look at the solidarity of these women coming together in the 19th century and setting a blueprint for the labor movement of the 20th century. Like, let's celebrate that. And throughout my work, as a journalist, as a playwright, as I'm looking always at Southern art and history and culture, I'm like, where are the places where we can highlight the overcoming to know that what has been done once can be done again and improved upon? So that's where the joy is for me.
When we read your bio, basically, you wrote everything. You wrote every kind of written thing. So this wasn't a script, but I was just personally curious. Like, is there anything you haven't written? And you're like, I should write that. It doesn't have to be a piece of work. Like, it could be like a letter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just so curious. I was like, wow, there's nothing she hasn't written. And I was like, is there anything? Like, I'm gonna cross that off my list to write.
You said letter. I've never written a Dear John letter. I feel like, we're like in a post Dear John letter generation.
You can bring it back.
But like, maybe I need to bring it back. So I've got to get in a relationship first.
Okay.
And then I can write a Dear John letter. No more ghosting via text message.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm really excited about this. You have a new show with the reading and theatrical outfit next week called The Vote. So can you tell us about this show, what you got cooking?
So The Vote is a part of the same trilogy as The Wash. The Wash and The Vote and The Knot are 3 plays that I'm writing about Reconstruction era Georgia that are focused on achievements in the African-American community during that time period. And so with The Vote, we are taking inspiration from the election of the men known as the Original 33. For those who are unfamiliar with that history, the Original 33 is the name given to the African-American men who were elected to the Georgia General Assembly in 1868 after the Civil War. And where I found the funny in that is that the level of chicanery and tomfoolery that was happening in politics in 1868 really does make today look like light work. And so there were all sorts of things happening where, when the men got elected and the Kimball Opera House, which was in Atlanta, was where the legislative session was taking place at the time because the Capitol was being built. And they thought, if we just chain link the doors closed, they can't get in. And they had to send federal troops down to Georgia to literally unlock a padlock. Like, it's just the inefficiency. Again, when we think it's bad today, it was foolish then. And then also one of the things they would do to try to like destroy the men's reputation is like, because adultery was like a crime back then. Could you imagine if today they would be like, oh, he's spending campaign funds on hookers. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what?
Wow.
You know, so I found the funny and the chicanery there and was like, okay, let's write a drama that centers a father-son story within the midst of this election story where the son is the father's campaign manager. And so that story will have its first time to be heard by an audience next week on June 17th. So I'm super excited about that.
Yes. Y'all get your tickets for next Tuesday. Theatrical outfit. Go see the vote.
Free
It's gonna be
tickets.
amazing. Yeah.
Free.
Go see it. And Hush Harbor Lab is part of this as well.
Hush Harbor Lab is a wonderful new play development incubator in Atlanta. They are responsible for a lot of the new work actually coming out of our city that's making it to national stages and that you're seeing on stages in Atlanta now. And so they developed The Wash. They're working with me to develop The Vote, and they are awesome.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, I have one question that I have to ask because you brought up how humor is how you write. As a comedian, obviously that's how I write. Can you speak to the role of humor in art and like how it affects people? Now I know how you said it affects you personally, but like how do you see it affecting people, especially when things don't necessarily always feel like they're funny?
I think the best answer I can have to that question is I remember years ago, Norman Lear, who, you know, created Good Times and all those classic TV shows, The Jeffersons, et cetera, you know, he said in an interview that one of his favorite things to do was to watch the live studio recordings of the TV shows, because when that live studio audience was in there, he said for a moment when the laugh hits and the people are going like this, it looks like genuflection, right? And so for me, that's like what it does in the audience. It's like, it's a uniting and it looks like divine ascension to me.
I'm still in that. Thank you. That's a very good answer.
That's great. Yeah. One final question for you is, where are you finding the bright spots right now, just in general?
I would say the bright spot for me is... So I was just in New York because The Wash was off Broadway, and my roommate from grad school came with her kids. And I think kids are the bright spot. You know what I mean? Like playing in Bryant Park with a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, like you can't be mad. And I think that that's something we have to remember is like the kids will be okay as long as we make sure they're okay. And like the kids to me are always the bright spot. Like if you ever have a bad day, you know, not in a creepy way, but like watch, you know, walk past the playground. You know what I mean?
Not in a creepy
Not
way.
in a creepy way.
I want to stress that.
Kelundra, thank you so much, for the work that you do, bring the stories to life in this way. Y'all, again, check out The Vote, the reading this next Tuesday. It's going to be amazing. A theatrical outfit. It's going to be great. Y'all, give it up for Kelundra.
All right.
You can say, yeah.
Before you go, can you help us out with our top story?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Fantastic, yeah.
Excellent. All right. Y'all, André 3000 is amongst us.
Yes, he is. The one and only 3 Stacks, y'all, has been out and about the city of Atlanta, popping up last week, performing all these pop-up shows with the flute and a band. He's been in a parking lot on Metropolitan. He was at a park in the old 4th Ward. I had to miss that one. I was very upset.
Oh, my God.
And he was at Grady Hospital.
Can I say I was upset too? I got the most Atlanta text message I ever that you can get. I was driving to a show and one of my friends just goes, "You want to see Dre play the flute?" And I knew exactly what he was talking about. And I was so mad that I had somewhere else to be.
We were going to the same show.
Going to
and
the
you
same
texted
show.
me and I was like, I'm going to the same show.
Yeah.
I got to miss Dre playing the flute. I was upset.
I was like, this is the most Atlanta text message ever. No, he's playing for those babies. Those are the luckiest Grady babies ever.
Yeah.
They definitely should get special t-shirts. All right. It took years for us to hear from Dre, and now he's just about everywhere you could look, but only in the most Atlantaist of places. And as we start to wonder where he may pop up next, I think it's time for a Top 5.
Top 5.
Okay, so Kelundra, Top 5. This is the game we play where we list our top 5 ideas on a theme. So tonight, we'd love for you to share the top 5 places in Atlanta you'd like to see André 3000 pop up for a flute performance. All right?
Right. You know the city. You know, what's my boo? I didn't expect that reaction. All right, you know the city, you know how performance can resonate. Where do you need to see André?
Can I first, before I answer the question, just say, as I vamp, this is like a national holiday, truly, though, because we never thought this was going to happen again. For those who were here when Outkast took over Centennial about 10 years ago, we thought that was it. And, you know, we sweated it out in Centennial. My feet haven't been the same since that Friday night show. So let me just say, this is like truly joyous. Okay, so I have to say selfishly,
Okay.
I need André to be wherever I'm running my errands. So first, I need him at the USPS. I got to go down to the Hapeville one because I got stuff to do. So I need him there.
Yep.
And then I also need him at any given Publix. You know what I mean? Like where shopping is a pleasure.
Yes.
I need that. Okay, so I'm continuing to run errands at the dry cleaners.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That would be a good one,
Yeah,
right? Like, what a
yeah.
surprise. It's such a monotonous errand that it would really shake it up, you know?
Yes.
It's such a transactional thing, but then there would be flute.
Anywhere
you
you're
know?
running errands, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'll be honest, it's very possible.
Yeah.
Everybody has an André story where it's like, I was doing something very normal and then André 3000 appeared. So I love this.
Yeah.
A place I'm too often, the airport.
That's a good one.
On the plane train specifically, it seems like things really seem to get hairy between that A gate and that T gate before you get to that baggage claim. Like if we could just get a little flute serenade there. And then finally, I would say the last place I need André to be, you know, I don't know how we could affix him where that 75, 85, when you coming out of downtown, if G-Dot would just put him maybe up on the screen, so instead of seeing that there are 30 minutes left in my commute, I have a concert, you know, maybe that's the answer to my road rage.
If y'all recall, we used the hologram once back in 2008.
We did.
Or was it 2004? Whatever it was. We were seeing use. It's time to bring it back for good use.
I'm just saying.
That. Yeah. Yo, that's the best stuff I've ever heard. Yeah, that was great. Yeah. That was great.
Can we add one?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
An episode of What's Good Atlanta would be a great place. André, if you're listening.
Yeah. André, please come on the show. You can play the flute, piano, whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to play.
You can rap too if you want to. I mean,
You don't have to do that. Just pull up. You could beat on the desk. You can do whatever.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been Kelundra, a top 5.
Y'all, please give it up for Kelundra Smith, everyone. Thank you so much. That was amazing, Kelundra. You were awesome. Thank you. And thank you to y'all for being such a wonderful, wonderful live audience. Y'all were amazing. Yeah, give it up for yourselves. Fantastic. Just got from our wonderful executive producer, Scotty Crow, our brick. They took the different suggestions that y'all, and so this is the brick that's going on the walkway. So this is from y'all, the audience.
Thank you guys for this beforehand. I don't know what it's going to say. We're very excited.
Yeah. So what's good is chicken and waffles, lemon pepper wings, sweat, André 3000 mac and cheese, patio season. Give it up for y'all.
Hungriest audience ever.
Hungriest audience ever.
Love it. And while we're giving a quick aside, y'all may know that support for public media is getting, let's just say, questioned. So by people at the moment, right? So What's Good Atlanta is a WABE show where we're so happy to be part of the public media family. So if you want to find ways to support this show, WABE and public media in general at this moment, visit wabe.org/action.
Yes, that's wabe.org/action. You can also go to the WABE store. You know, this sweatshirt's WABE.
Yes.
I got a shirt with a bunch of pictures on Lois Rice's.
I've seen that shirt. That's a great shirt.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, Mark, gotta ask the question, what's some good that you're taking from tonight?
Chicken and waffles, lemon pepper, wings, sweat, André 3000 mac and cheese, patio season. Well, what about yourself, David?
The same thing.
Yeah.
The best audiences in the world.
Love that. All right. Yeah. So y'all, don't forget, you can hit the What's Good Atlanta tip line at podcast@wab.org. Let us know what's good in Atlanta, be it breaking news or maybe just a bright spot from your drive down Metropolitan Parkway.
What's Good Atlanta is produced by us in collaboration with Cool Productions and WABE. Our executive producer is Scotty Crow with additional production by Matt Owen. Special thanks to Kevin Rinker for production on this live episode and all the folks at Dad's Garage.
Yeah. Thanks so much, y'all. That's the end of the podcast episode. We'll see y'all later. Goodbye.
Bye.
WABE.